Good afternoon, everybody. I hope all is well. We have a plethora of information to discuss in terms of weather. So let's first delve into where the cold frontal zone is located and investigate the main culprit into the severe weather expected over the next 48 hours. The cold frontal zone is located over central and eastern Texas at the moment, with the warm sector spreading over much of eastern Texas as we speak. To the north and northwest of this region, we can see a massive rain shield impacting much of central Oklahoma. This will be bringing in some cold, soaking rainfall. Due to this rainfall, we have a large area under an excessive rainfall outlook, which we will take a look at in a moment here. All right, we have a slight risk of excessive rainfall across northwestern Arkansas, southeastern Oklahoma, and portions of northern Texas here. So it's definitely pretty crazy. So we can definitely see the marginal risk is also extending all the way down through Austin, Texas, and San Antonio, almost to the Gulf Coast here. So that's definitely pretty interesting to see for sure. But we definitely have that threat for excessive rainfall. This is due to a positively tilted trough ejecting from the Four Corners region today, interacting with a jet streak over the Ohio Valley that will strengthen to near 130 knots by late Tuesday and early into Wednesday. Deep southerly flow ahead of the system will bring in high levels of tropospheric moisture characterized by precipitable water values over 1 inch and 1.25 inches. So that's definitely pretty crazy. This is actually 2 to 2.5 times above the normal standard deviation, above the climatological mean here. And this, combined with lift and instability with Cape values of 1,000 joules per kilogram, this could definitely result in intense rainfall rates of over 2 inches per hour at times. Deep layer flow being nearly parallel to expected storm motion may also lead to repeated rounds of training heavy rainfall locally, which is definitely not good. And this will be in the slight risk area, all the way from Dallas up through Fayetteville, even into portions of extreme southern and southwestern Missouri here. So definitely not good. This is definitely areas that could actually exceed 3 inches. So definitely not good. So it's definitely a lot of rainfall here coming in, guys. So we definitely have a lot of this coming in, and we also have that big severe weather event heading in as well, which we're going to take a look at here momentarily. As we can see here, the heaviest rainfall will occur around the Paris, Texas area, Sulphur Springs, Texas, Greenville, Texas, McKinley, Texas, all the way down through Dallas, Texas, down through Waco as well, and through Austin, Texas. We'll also have some honorable mentions here up through Oklahoma, from Oklahoma City all the way through Norman, and all the way up through Tulsa as well, into Arkansas through the I-49 and I-40 corridors. So definitely very interesting. This will occur through Alma, Russellville, and Fayetteville. You can definitely see rainfall totals here, possibly eclipsing 3 inches of rainfall here near the Paris, Texas area. So definitely not a good sign here. We definitely have a lot of moisture in the air. Definitely getting ready to dump a lot of this through northeastern Texas and southeastern Oklahoma, even into portions of western Arkansas as well. Definitely can see a lot of that rainfall. As aforementioned, we have a chance for severe weather over the next several days as well. Today, we have the potential for isolated strong to severe thunderstorms from this evening into the overnight hours across portions of eastern Texas down through the Texas Gulf Coast. This severe weather will be set off by the aforementioned cold frontal zone. Surface observations also depict dew point temperatures in the mid-60s across the Texas coastal plain here. This moisture nose will begin to shift into eastern Texas during the evening and overnight hours tonight as the accompanying surface low deepens and tracks across north-central Texas along with the previously mentioned cold frontal zone. Let's just take a look at that. You can see these dew points definitely shifting off to eastern Texas as well. So definitely not a good sign. Definitely a lot of abundant moisture in the area. It's definitely going to be a very interesting event, especially with 60s dew points and possibly even 70s coming into the region as well, providing the necessary fuel for thunderstorm development. As mentioned previously, the main culprit, or the approaching wave, is located over portions of central and southern New Mexico. This region will remain behind the cold frontal zone over the next 24 hours. This will be a region of ascent or lift, and combining this with a large area of mid-level isentropic ascent will result in a widespread region of stratiform precipitation with embedded pockets of elevated convection stretching from central to northeastern Texas. Surface-based convection will likely focus along the cold frontal zone this evening throughout the overnight hours across the Texas coastal plain as well as into eastern Texas, with these regions being enveloped by a stronger moisture return from the Gulf of Mexico, coupled with warm low-level air advection. Photographs will begin to elongate, which may support more robust convection cells to develop, which will be capable of primarily damaging winds in excess of 60 miles per hour and quite possibly a tornado or two. We will have to watch the progression of this system rather closely, especially as this system propagates eastward. For tomorrow, we have a much greater risk for severe weather. These storms will spawn over a much larger area as well, stretching from the lower Mississippi Valley down through the Gulf coastal regions. The main culprit for this setup will now begin to tilt negatively beginning Wednesday morning across the southern high plains, eventually propagating to near the Ozarks around 2 a.m. So we can definitely see that propagating eastward, eventually making into the Ozarks by 2 a.m. Thursday. Thus, this will slow down the system, allowing more energy to build up within its coils. As the aforementioned surface low from today's analysis deepens, the low-level wind fields will strengthen and moisture advection will take shape pretty vigorously across the lower Mississippi Valley as well as along the Gulf Coast. Mid-60s dew points will still be going strong, and they may surge to the north into southern Arkansas and northern Mississippi by Wednesday evening. You can see here that it actually extends almost into central Arkansas and even into portions of southwestern Tennessee. So you can definitely see how strong this moisture return is from the Gulf of Mexico and how strong this negatively tilted trough is pulling up those moisture values and creating those dew points in the 60s and possibly even getting close to 70 along the Gulf Coast. As for the warm sector, a cap will exist over much of the region in the earlier hours on Wednesday morning, leading to modest convective inhibition. However, this convective inhibition will erode rather quickly through lunchtime as mid-level lapse rates begin to increase. And as for recent model guidance here, it depicts limited convection across the region. However, taking a look at the European model here, let's take a look at this here, guys. This definitely looks to initialize with a high degree of confidence. Widespread convection will be ongoing throughout Wednesday afternoon here. The main mode for these storms looks to be within a more multicellular regime and remains severe in terms of damaging winds and torrential rainfall. Definitely flooding is going to be an issue here, folks. Wind shear values look to stay under the 30 knot range throughout the day tomorrow. However, looking at the precipitable water fields, eastern Louisiana and western Mississippi should expect more of a focused severe weather threat to develop. This is due to the fact that a strong low-level jet will be in place between 6 p.m. and midnight. You guys, you can definitely see how strong this low-level jet actually is here. Definitely see some of these values here. We're looking at 56 knots, all the way up to 60 knots, possibly into Mississippi here. So definitely not good. Even southeastern Louisiana, definitely looking at between 40 and 55 knots. So definitely we have a pretty strong low-level jet definitely developing here. Taking a look at the sounding data here, New Orleans, this low-level jet will aid hodograph elongation here, as well as more convergence, leading to more pronounced tornado threat during the evening and overnight hours on Wednesday, especially within the New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Gulfport area. You can see here we have that marginal tornado threat is a possible hazard here. We also have critical angles at about 80 degrees. 90 degrees is near perfect. So we're definitely looking at storms that have the ability to ingest streamwise vorticity relatively easily. We also have SRH values of 188 meters squared, second squared here, so that's definitely pretty high here. So we're going to have to watch this as well. You can see that strong curvature between 0 and 1 kilometers on the hodographs here. We're looking at about 40 knots, so definitely pretty intense here. We can also see we have temperatures of 72 degrees on top of a 68-degree dew point, so you can see just how abundant the moisture is in the atmosphere. We also have that pronounced elevated mix layer coming off the Mexican plateau as well. So we definitely have to watch this situation very carefully, especially in southeastern Louisiana and southwestern Mississippi. The development of a few supercells as well as a QLCS or quasi-linear convective system may initiate the potential for bookend vortices to develop. Damaging winds will also become a concern in these areas as well, with wind gusts possibly eclipsing 65 miles per hour. As this convection moves off to the east, it will be located over the Alabama-Mississippi border after 1 a.m., so we could definitely see some of this activity here. Definitely not looking good. We can extend this out a little bit. Right around 1 a.m. here, you can definitely see it is located right along the border there. So we're going to have to watch this very carefully. We could definitely see New Orleans definitely getting hit here, so this is definitely not good. Even areas up towards Baton Rouge here. We're also looking at areas up through Jackson, Louisiana, all the way up through definitely Jackson, Mississippi, all the way extending all the way north through Greenwood and Grenada here. So we're going to have to watch this very carefully. We could definitely get a lot of brief spin-ups here. So we could definitely see potential tornadoes up and down this quasi-linear convective system. So this is definitely going to be one to watch as we go into Wednesday night into Thursday morning. We can also see that the actual the Storm Prediction Center here has issued a marginal risk as well for Thursday. So given the strong returns in the low-level wind field, a marginal risk has been introduced for Thursday as well, which may need to be retrograded to the back to the Alabama-Mississippi border here. So we're going to have to watch this very carefully. It is in the south here, but we may have to watch central and portions of, definitely central and southern portions of the Mississippi-Alabama border here. This could definitely be retrograded back this way a little bit. So we're going to have to watch this very carefully. For Thursday, the QLCS from the previous night will be pushing off to the east and in doing so weakening slightly. The area most affected will be portions of Alabama as well as into the Florida Panhandle Thursday morning, so we're going to have to watch this very carefully into this region here. Scattered thunderstorms left from the residue of the strong mid-upper level winds, which will be acting to decelerate and possibly stall the aforementioned cold front, will develop and push eastward. Redevelopment of the convection may take place as well, which may lead to development of a few supercellular storms to develop in a small window for tornadogenesis across the northern Florida, so near Pensacola, Panama City, down through Apalachicola, even Tallahassee as well, down through southern Alabama here. We're looking at the Ozark, Enterprise, Dothan, up through Montgomery as well. You follow, definitely in this region as well. And down through southern Georgia here, definitely near the Thomasville, Valdosta, Tifton here, right between, the I-65 corridor and the I-10 corridor and the I-75 corridor is the area that we definitely have to watch for possible tornado genesis. Definitely a few brief spin-ups, definitely not out of the question. We also have the potential for low-top thunderstorms across Indiana, Kentucky, and Ohio around sunrise on Thursday as well. Low to mid-level winds will be screaming over the area at about 70 knots across the aforementioned area, and 50s dew points will also be present. This will set the stage for damaging winds to develop in more robust cells. I do believe a marginal risk will be needed to be issued within this area, given the increasing confidence in damaging winds. We currently have a general thunderstorm risk, but I definitely can see the possibility of the introduction of a marginal risk through the area. So we're definitely talking about, areas through, I definitely want to say Cincinnati's going to get on the action. We're going to see Dayton and Columbus as well. Even down through Lexington, Kentucky, Louisville as well. Even up into portions of Dry Ridge, Cynthiana here, Maysville as well, definitely getting on the action. Portsmouth as well, definitely watch out for that. And we could possibly see this extending over into Wheeling, West Virginia. So we're going to have to watch this very carefully. It's definitely encroaching on the World Weather Authority studio area. So we're definitely going to be monitoring this situation very, very vigorously. Because it could possibly be an active chase day. We're going to have to see what goes on here. Definitely looking at these precipitation amounts, we could see some prolific rain totals across the deep south and the southeast. It's definitely going to get pretty crazy here, folks. We can definitely see some of these rain totals eclipsing a little over an inch here, especially into portions of southern Mississippi and southern Alabama. This will be near Hattiesburg, all the way down to Gulfport, Mobile as well, getting in on the action. This is between I-59 and I-65 here, so we're going to have to watch this very carefully. You can see some of these rain totals possibly approaching 2 inches, so we definitely have to be on the lookout for that. We also have this little bit of activity here, up to 2 inches here along the Sabine River here as well. Down to Port Arthur, Lake Charles as well. This is right along the I-10 corridor between Beaumont and Lake Charles here, so we're going to have to watch this very carefully. We can even see some of these rain totals up here in central Mississippi as well, so we're going to have to watch out for this. This would be near Jackson, up through Philadelphia as well. Definitely possibly getting a little bit over 1.25 inches, between 1.25 inches and 1.5 inches, so we're going to have to watch this very carefully. We can also see that portions of southern Alabama here, south central Alabama, so we're going to have to watch this. This is probably going to be near the Thomasville, the Linden area, so we have to watch this very carefully. We could possibly see a little bit over 2 inches of rainfall during this event. Even portions of eastern Texas, central eastern Texas here, getting in on the action. You can see Dallas definitely getting in almost 2 inches of rainfall, all the way down through Waco and Austin, Texas, definitely getting down into near 2 inches or a little bit above 2 inches. We're going to have to watch this situation very carefully. Definitely, if you happen across flooded roadways, please turn around, don't drown. Your life is more important than where you're going. We cannot stress that enough, folks. All right, switching gears now, let's take a look at this snow threat as well. We'll begin to see heavier bursts of snow developing Wednesday evening and overnight Thursday across portions of northern Oklahoma and central Oklahoma here. Let's take a look at that. This is from Oklahoma City to Stillwater to Ponca City and to the northwest of Tulsa as well. This snow will definitely get its act together here across central Kansas as well. Let's take a look at that. South central, and eastern Kansas. So this is going to be into Winfield, Wichita, across much of eastern Kansas within the I-335 and I-35 corridors. Unfortunately, an icy setup will also be taking shape across portions of Iowa from Leon to Des Moines. This will be up through Fort Dodge as well, so we're going to have to watch out for this. As this system continues to lift off to the northeast, we could possibly see up to heavier snow, definitely up to the 1 to 2 inch per hour will begin to set up on the backside of this system. This will be across northeastern Kansas here, near Topeka, Holton, Nortonville, Atchison, as well as into northwestern Missouri. This is going to be Kansas City, Smithville, Lawson, Cameron, and Maryville, and into Iowa as well, which includes areas impacted by the ice earlier, which includes Clarinda here, Red Oak, Creston, Leon, Des Moines, and Centerville. So we definitely have to watch this very carefully as we keep moving on. Definitely want to keep following the snow up to the north here, so let's follow this a little bit. So this snow will eventually make it across portions of Wisconsin as well. So definitely not good. This will be across definitely central Wisconsin and eventually across much of Wisconsin here. This will be across the I-90 and I-94 corridor. And then by Friday, we can definitely see all of that light snow definitely extending into Michigan as well. This will be stretching down into extreme portions of northeastern Indiana and northwestern Ohio as well. This will include LaGrange, Angola, Bryan, and Wooson here. So we're going to have to watch this very carefully. Let's take a look at those snowfall accumulations as well, folks. It's definitely going to be an interesting situation. Snow accumulations will be in the range of 1 to 5 inches across much of north and central Oklahoma here. We will also see 2 to 6 inches across eastern Kansas, and we will also see 4 to 8 inches across northwestern Missouri. We will also see 4 inches to over a foot of snowfall across much of central and northeastern Iowa, so we're going to have to watch this very carefully. It could definitely be a very interesting situation. As we move off to the north as well, we could see 5 to 9 inches definitely across much of central Wisconsin. And take a look at Michigan with all that light snow comes in. We could see less than an inch of snowfall across much of Michigan and northeastern Indiana here, where we're not expecting much snowfall. and even into portions of northwestern Ohio where we're not going to see any. We did see that light snow forming. So we definitely have to watch out for that very carefully. The situation could definitely change. We are still a few days out. We are confident on that severe weather threat. Definitely expected later on tonight, tomorrow as well, and into Thursday. We'll definitely have to watch that very carefully. As shown by the information in this video, we are in for a bumpy ride over the next few days, folks. Please take this time to prepare your emergency kits and devise an evacuation plan if conditions arise. If you find yourself under severe thunderstorm and or tornado warnings, please head to shelter immediately. If you live in a mobile home, be ready to evacuate to a sturdy shelter. If you are driving, please pull off and head into a sturdy building. Head to the lowest level of that building and place as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Stay away from windows as well. Also, if you come across flooded roadways, turn around. Don't drown. Your life is more important than where you're going. Most importantly, remain calm, everybody. We will get through these next few days together. Also, if you're enjoying the content here at World Weather Authority, please consider hitting that subscribe button, enable notifications to ensure that you do not miss any weather updates in the future. Also, hit that like button and leave us a comment. We love hearing from you guys. And may God bless you over the next few days. Remember, be prepared, not scared, folks. I will see you in the next video. Always remember, never stop chasing.